If you're trying to figure out how to grow on YouTube as a beginner, you're probably terrified of one thing, that you're going to suck at it. And you're right, you will. Your first videos will be rough, your thumbnails won't pop, you'll be awkward on camera. But here's what nobody tells you about those early struggles. That fear you're feeling right now, that I'm not ready yet feeling, that's not wisdom. It's not protecting you, it's holding you back. However, what if I told you that every successful YouTuber, every single one, started in the exact same place? Terrified, unprepared, convinced they'd be terrible. And the difference? They gave themselves permission to be beginners. And that changes everything. Think about a baby learning to walk. How many times does that baby fall? 10 times? 20? No. Try hundreds. Maybe thousands. But nobody, not the parents, not anyone says, all right, that's 7 falls. That's it. This kid's a crawler for life. That would be insane, right? Yet that's exactly what we do to ourselves. We sit down and write our first script and it's terrible, so we stop. We record ourselves for the first time and we cringe and want to delete everything. We try to edit our first videos and they look amateur, so we stop. And we say, that's it. I'm just not built for this. That's your first fall, not your last attempt. You've just taken your first wobbly steps. Can you relate to this? Here's what's really happening in your brain right now. The conscious mind, the part that wants to start a YouTube channel, that has ideas, that has dreams, it's fighting your unconscious mind. And your unconscious mind has one job, to keep you safe. Starting a YouTube channel, that's terrifying for the unconscious mind. Views that might not come, subscribers you might not get, comments that might judge you, failure that might prove you're not good enough. So your brain does what it's designed to do, to protect you. It creates these what-if questions. What if I don't get views? What if people leave negative comments? What if people think I'm cringe? And here's the thing. Those questions, they're not helping you grow on YouTube. They're keeping you from starting. However, there's a different question you can be asking. A question that actually moves you forward. Instead of asking, what if I don't get views? Ask, how can I get views? Instead of asking, what if people leave negative comments? Ask, how can I better handle any potential negative comments? You see the difference? One keeps you paralyzed, the other gives you direction. Giving yourself permission to be a beginner isn't about lowering your standards. It's about removing the stigma, the pressure, the self-doubt, the discouragement that stops you from even trying. But here's the truth about the YouTube algorithm and you growing your channel. The YouTube algorithm doesn't care if you're a beginner. It cares if you're being consistent. It cares if you're improving, if you keep showing up. But you can't show up if you never start. So let's talk about what you're actually afraid of. You already know. So let's talk about what you're actually afraid of. You already know what you suck at, don't you? Maybe it's on being on camera. You hate how you look, how you sound. That's the fear. Maybe it's editing. You haven't used an editing software before. You don't know where to start. That's the fear. Maybe it's script writing. You think your ideas are scattered, that you ramble. That's the fear. However, here's where most aspiring YouTubers get it wrong. They let these fears become facts. They let them sit there as proof of why they can't start. But people who actually grow on YouTube, they use a different approach. A logical one. Okay, I'm uncomfortable on camera. Let me record myself a few times just for practice and get comfortable. Okay, I don't know how to edit. Let me watch some tutorials and practice. Okay, I probably suck at script writing. Let me learn about that and keep writing and practicing it until it sounds better. See? No emotion, no drama. Just, here's what I'm worried about. Here's how I can learn it. Let me start. That's how to grow on YouTube when you're starting out. Think about every skill you learn in your life. Riding a bike, playing an instrument, cooking, driving. Were you amazing from day one? Of course not. The issue isn't that you're not talented enough for YouTube, it's that you're not giving yourself the chance to develop the talent. You're treating YouTube like it's pass or fail, like video 1 has to be perfect. But YouTube isn't like that. There is no grade. There is no failure. Only feedback. Low views? That's feedback. Work on your titles and thumbnails. People clicking away fast, that's feedback too. Hook them better in the first 30 seconds. Not getting subscribers, again, that's feedback. Give them better reasons to stick around. But then again, you don't get any of that feedback if you never upload video 1. So here's what I want you to understand right now. Stop counting how many times you try to write, record, or edit. Stop counting how many times you almost started. Instead, start giving yourself unlimited chances, like that baby learning to walk. If you're going to suck at something, good. Now you know what to work on. If you're a beginner, great. That means you have room to grow. If you're afraid of failing, perfect. That means you care enough to try. None of this works if you never start. If you stay in planning mode forever, if you let the fear win. The YouTubers who make it aren't more talented than you, luckier, or even more creative. They gave themselves permission to begin, even when they were scared, even when they knew they'd suck. So let me ask you this, are you afraid you're going to suck at YouTube? Good. That means you care. That means you have standards. That means you're human. The question isn't whether you'll suck. The question is, are you giving yourself permission to suck, to learn and get better? Because that, my friend, that's how you grow on YouTube. Not by being perfect from day one, by being brave enough to start day one. Let me tell you exactly why sucking is your superpower if you let it be one. First, it takes the pressure off. When you give yourself permission to suck, something shifts. You're not competing with other creators who've been doing this for 5 years. You're not comparing your video number 1 or 2 or 3 to someone else's video number 200. You're just making your first videos. Second, you get to stay in the learning phase longer, and that's a gift, not a curse. When you accept that you're going to suck, you give yourself time to actually learn, to experiment, to figure out what works. Think about that baby learning to walk. It doesn't go from crawling to sprinting overnight. It's not ready to be an adult straight out of the gate. It needs time to mature, time to take those first wobbly steps, time to find better footing before it can run. And the same goes with your channel. It needs time to mature. It needs time to find better footing. Third, failure should be your only option, because it's when we fail, we learn. And when we learn, we grow. Every failed video teaches you something. Every awkward moment on camera makes the next one easier. Failure isn't the opposite of success on YouTube. It's actually the path towards it. So when you suck, when you fail, that's not a sign to quit. That's a sign you're in the game. You're learning. You're one step closer to figuring it out.